and whose level of consumptions was largely sustained by the value and the continuous increase in the value of your house. So it's a phenomenon that has an immense social dimension and an immense economic dimension, because if this model breaks down, consumption is likely to drop, economic activity is likely to drop, and to hit those same households which are already hit by the bursting of the bubble. And finally, the third element is the panic or the great fear. It did not start with the fall of Lehman. In many respects, interbank activity and credit were in a very critical situation already in the summer of 2007, when the first extraordinary injections of liquidity were decided by the Fed and by the ECB, but certainly it turned into an extremely dramatic run on the banks after the Lehman failure. The run of the banks used to be depicted by widows and orphans queuing in front of a bank to withdraw, to convert their deposits into banknotes. Here, this image, except for Notre Europe, did not appear in the press. Those who were panicking were very sophisticated financiers, which from their computers stopped operating or sort of divested their investments. Now, if this is the crisis, how should we look at it? There are two views. One views it as a correction of a wrong path, a wrong course that the American and more generally the global economy were on. The other view sees it as a temporary skid out of a path that is sustainable and not as such wrong. These are two completely different views, and it's extremely important to choose which one is correct. My description clearly is for the correction view rather than for the skid view. But we have to remember that the bubbles that have inflated and burst in the last 10 or 15 years were interpreted as skids, mainly as temporary deviations after which life could continue to go the way it was going before. That was true for each of the bubbles of the last 10 or 15 years. Mexico, Asian countries, Russia, Argentina, high-tech stocks, etc. Not only because of the magnitude of this bubble and its unique features, as I have mentioned it, but more because at the origin of it there is a growth model which was not sustainable. I think that the right way to look at the crisis is to see it as a correction. Now, I use the word correction, but the crisis itself may be to some extent the correction, and more it is the pointer, the symptom that calls for a correction. The correction has still to come and will not be produced by an entirely spontaneous process of, say, a market nature such as the bubble itself is. And the reason for that, I think, is because at the origin of this three-dimensional crisis, there were a financial panic that we have experienced in recent weeks and months. Let me say just a few things about each of these three components. The formation of savings in the US economy has ceased completely for many years, both in the private and in the public sector. Normally, so that the growth of the country was basically sustained by increasing external debt, a situation that for a normal economic agent, for a normal country, or for a normal household or business would not last for very long before a reaction from the creditors come. That this model of growth was not sustainable has been said long ago. I have been around for many years. The unsustainability of the US external deficit in terms of its share to GDP with the historical comparisons of other previous experiences, all that had been said very long ago. If it was nevertheless sustained for so long, to the point that elaborate models were invented to show that in fact an aeroplane could fly without the wings. If it was sustained for so long, it is because there were some special factors that prolonged the functioning of this model. One is globalization and the emergence of China and India as major actors in the global economy. The other was the special condition of the dollar. Without somebody willing to be a creditor for very long, a debtor cannot go very far. The creditor here was mainly the Chinese economy, partly the Indian economy, two extremely large in terms of people economies which were emerging in the global scene, developing very large